Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
We were going to bring this to you last episode, but we ran out of time, so we're going to do it now. This is a headline from Wired.com, and it is goes like this. Apple just killed the password for real this time. Oh, for real. Okay. Here's what the article says. Your passwords are terrible. Year after year, the most popular passwords leaked in data breaches are 123456, 123456789, and 12345. QWERTY and password come close behind, and using these weak passwords leaves you vulnerable to all sorts of hacking. Weak and repeated passwords are one of the most significant risks to your online life. For years, we've been promised a more secure, password-free future, but it seems like 2022 will actually be the year that millions of people start to move away from passwords. At Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference yesterday, the company announced it will launch passwordless logins across Macs, iPhones, iPads, and Apple TVs around September of this year. Instead of using passwords, you will be able to log into websites and apps using passkeys. Oh, are we going crypto here? With iOS 16 and macOS Ventura. It's the first major real-world shift to password elimination. How does it work? Passkeys replace your tired old passwords by creating new digital keys using Touch ID or Face ID. Apple's Vice President of Internet Technologies, Darren Adler, explained at WWDC.
Yeah, and I can save us some time on this, but the main focus of this whole thing is, it's the same beast system strategy, the same technocratic strategy that we have seen replayed over and over and over. And what they're doing is getting rid of the very concept of a password, where you won't need to create a password, you won't need to remember a password, you won't need to forget your password.
Well, how do we verify? How do we verify ourselves? What do we do?
Subsequently reset your password. No. Instead, they have been developing. A lot of companies have been developing this. Google's been working on it since 2008. Apple and who else? A lot of companies have been working on this. But the long story short is, no, passwords, they're gone. They're going to be gone forever. And why would you even need a password if you could just read your thumbprint, your Touch ID, or your Face ID? Get your nice little, 3D digital scan of your face, get it in the facial recognition database. And there you go. We're making life easier on you, baby. It's going to be safer. It's going to be easier to...
How many people have your face? Mm-hmm. Only you. You are unique. You're a unique creation of God, and we will leverage that in our technology so nobody else can breach.
And here's the thing. You might be thinking, what's the big deal? Like, I already can sign into stuff with my Face ID and my fingerprint. I mean, hopefully, if you're listening to this show, or if you've been listening to it for long enough, you will not have fallen into that little trap there.
I have not used mine. I still don't use it.
Yeah, and so hopefully you haven't given your very precious biometric data to some company who is not beholden or cares about you whatsoever. And in fact, biometric data has been one of the most valuable forms of data to be sold, not just in the legitimate data markets, but also the black markets. On the dark web, baby. But here you go. Now they're moving into a period where they will be phasing out the very idea of a password forever and for good. Like, it won't even be an option. It's going now. It's not going to.
That's the part that bothers me. Is like, at least leave the option. I know they're going to make it very inconvenient or whatever to try to encourage you to go, with the biometric side. But just leave us. Leave us. What are we, Gen? What is it?
We're millennials.
Millennials. Leave us millennials with our key punching passwords.
Passwords, they're so retro, man. They're cool. They're
the
like
generation
bell
that holds on to actual typey passwords.
Yeah. And so they're actually releasing this update this year, later this year.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But I will say they go on to say, it's still sort of a phasing strategy. It's not like we're going to lose the ability to have or use any password in September. But it is sort of the official launch. It is the official beginning of the end of the password this September, if it ends up coming out. And part of the whole idea of collecting data on every individual, that's part of the, it was written in the United Nations Agenda 2030 thing. They want every born citizen of the world to have identification. That's what they said as part of their thing. And I think it connects to what we just talked about with gun control, because, one of the things of the 7 things that they were talking about in the bill was to be able to track every gun. I think here, let me pull up the bill here. I think it's like number 6 or 7 or something, or 4 maybe. Number 3. Sorry, number 3. Requirements that all firearms be traceable. Modernization of the prohibition of undetectable firearms. So literally, they're the surveillance apparatus, fired up, pun intended, as part of the restructuring of everything. And if you have IDs, these biological IDs of all the people, then it's almost like before you had to get a fingerprint at the police station. You got to get the little ink pad and they got it on file. Now the tech company just has a record of your biometric, and you can they easily look up if if they find a fingerprint on a gun or something that's unregistered. Well, and it's not even the gun that's that's the smallest part. I mean,
no, I know.
The
I'm just
people,
giving an example.
The sort of skeptical, they already have your driver's license. Okay, we get it. Yes, if you live in society, you probably have some sort of data, biometric data that's been collected by somebody.
Yeah.
But the point is not, the government has your fingerprint, or the government has your Face ID. The point is that when big data companies, Silicon Valley, who are not held responsible by, a democratic republic government with at least some sort of facade of accountability and restrictions, when it's a big tech company, especially if they have headquarters overseas, they can do whatever they want with the biometrics. And it's not so much they can connect your driver's license to your gun permit or something via your biometric data. It's, you used your biometric data to sign into Facebook. So now they can connect not just your government records, but they can connect it with all of your Facebook data. Every web page that you visit, if you use your biometrics to sign into your Google account, boom, every email you've ever sent and received can easily be connected to your government profile. Can they do this already? Yes, they can. But if you've followed any of the privacy lawsuits, you can see very clearly, at least what's been shown in Discovery and other investigative sort of journalistic pursuits, is that it's very easily fightable. Because if it's a password, somebody else could have your password. It's not really proof that it is actually physically you doing something. So what it really is doing is it's almost like the same threat that some organizations feel about blockchain, which is, once a piece of data is entered, it can never be erased, and it's verified over and over again, and it's sort of the closest thing that you can get to digital truth with a capital T. But now, every time you open your phone, every time you connect to any service or account or anything, connecting that directly to a verifiable face scan is going to go a long way to increasing the power, not only of, Silicon Valley, big tech, which we've gone through the analysis of how big data is the new oil. Data is the most important asset or commodity that a nation state can control at this point. And we've seen really very sort of intense geopolitical sort of fiery battles to control data over anything else. Maybe not battles like the types of battles we have for oil, but legal battles for sure. And, the idea that this can be verified, connected to every little piece of information via biometrics is going to increase the value of that data. This is just how the industry works. If the data can be verified via biometrics, that increases the value of that data, which then feeds into sort of the evil monstrosity of the data, big data industry, which is really playing a huge part in forming and shaping what the technocratic future looks like, even on a geopolitical level. Now, Apple is generally one of the more responsible companies when it comes to data. After they kind of got busted almost a decade ago now, approaching a decade, I guess, they really changed their tone on handling a lot of data. They've done a lot of good stuff, mainly locking out their competitors from your data, like Facebook and Google. If you're using Apple infrastructure, your data pretty much just stays with Apple. And a lot of their encryption stuff is actually pretty good, and Apple can't even see a lot of your messages. But, that's just out of the kindness of their hearts. No, I'm just kidding. It's marketing. It's marketing, and it's in order to draw as many privacy-minded users as possible into the company. And the fact is that they can turn on a dime at any moment and just undo a lot of that stuff.
I was going to say, they're like the perfect Trojan horse in that regard. They have that reputation of being very good with people's privacy and their data. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not more concerned, but another concern, not just the data collection and the immutability of that data associated with your biometrics. I don't know. It still can be manipulated, I guess, if it's within a centralized type of thing. Somebody can add something in the back end and be like, yeah, it's just associate all these websites with this guy's biometrics. So I don't see how it's like
as
any
far
better.
as
Even in terms of privacy, but
and that's kind of the point. Is like it's not better at all. It's significantly worse.
Yeah, it's worse. and accessibility is another thing. With passwords, you can sort of even if you're locked out, you can kind of still log into something anonymously, or
if you need your family to like do something, check your email or whatever. I don't know.
Right. You can kind of figure out a way around it. But if it's biometrics and that's the only way you can get in, you're giving more gatekeeping power to Apple. And you have to comply with whatever thing they have in order to access your account. I don't like that. I'd rather be able to have my own sovereignty over my account access, So anyway,
and I love it because it's all done in the name of convenience. It's convenience and safety.
They got no tricks.
And it's funny because that's, another thing we complain about all the time is the advertising industry. And when it comes to the juxtaposition between the value for value model, where you actually have to take responsibility and personally put value back into a system that brings value to your life, or the OG advertising model where, it's so easy, man. I don't got to think about it. My favorite independent news analysis and deconstruction podcasts, they can just get paid on the back end by advertisers. I don't want to be responsible for that. It's all convenience, folks. And that's what the beast system is all based on. That's how they trick you into it, baby.